Hi guys, a quick disclaimer. This is not like no beef. I don't got no beef with Read My Soul, but I did want to get this off my chest after watching his video titled Lupe, Fiasco, and Ultra Lyricist and why they low-key hate Kendrick Lamar. Firstly, just and again, much respect to Read My Soul. His channel's great. I just think this video is a little under researched. So firstly, on like Lupe's side, I do agree on the jealousy part. I just think that jealousy stems more from the fact that he was capable of being in that Kendrick position, but his outspokenness and trollingness got him up out of there. Plus, the shit that the label was forcing him to do was completely underselling his real talents. You know what I'm saying? Even when you're considering like shit he was making with The Cool and Food and Liquor, like those are much more introspective and well written projects that Atlantic was forcing Lupe to dumb down even beyond that. You know what I'm saying? But when you're talking about something like Tetsuo, that one's a lot more like, I call it puzzle rap, where it's like, but again, Food and Liquor and The Cool, much more accessible albums across the board. And again, it's kind of proof that Lupe does have mid-range, and I don't think he's necessarily jealous of Kendrick's mid-range. He's just jealous of Kendrick's success while being mid-range, if that makes sense. So yeah, because he made Kick Push, he made I Gotcha, he made Superstar, he made Show Goes On, even Samurai. Like I seen people put Samurai in their stories and I didn't even know they was hip-hop fans. So that obviously means like it's getting some streams from somewhere. But again, he doesn't really crave the mid-range. He prefers to stay in that upper range of hip-hop. I do think also like just the issue with your title is that you're saying like ultra lyricists have an issue with Kendrick, and I don't think it's really ultra lyricists. I think it's just a specific type of ultra lyricist that aims to undermine Kendrick's like lyrical abilities and say that he's not really like a wordplay type artist because he's not barred up in every single line as a punchline, even though a lot of hyper lyrical cats aren't even like that. You know what I'm saying? Some are, but Kendrick's fully capable of doing that, but I don't think he prefers to do that when it comes to like his albums and stuff like that. When you're talking about the ultra lyricists, I do think that it applies much more to the fans. Like when you watch, like this is back in like 2014 through 2018, you would hear conversations with that old heads would have, like Justin Hunter, Rude Jude on Hip Hop DX talking about how, is Kendrick the GOAT. This is after he made T-Pab and I think Untitled Unmastered, right? And they're saying, well, I don't think Kendrick's the GOAT because I don't think he's holding the candle to like, this is Rude Jude, to holding the candle to like, my favorites like Scarface, etc., right? And you can actually, there's a recent video that Open Mike Eagle made, and I say recent, it's probably like a couple months back, but he was talking about how like, I actually do like Drake's lyricism, and I think that he is better than Kendrick at lyricism in a certain way. And I was like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? And he's also saying that like, Kendrick's not really in my top 5, or he was more so saying like Kendrick's not someone I'm like really that inspired by because I'm more inspired by this shit. And he listed a bunch of older like MCs, and that's his, again, it's an old head type of thing. So again, there is a genuine type of critique that Kendrick does get that I don't think it's necessarily an ultra lyricist thing. I just think it's low-key an old head thing, because J. Cole was even talking about it on 7 Minute Drill, where he said your first shit was classic, your second shit they gassed it. You know what I'm saying? It's just that like a certain type of it's a certain type of old head take where they didn't really consider Kendrick to be rap at the time of like T-Pab and Untitled Unmastered, because but then like Kendrick cemented himself again and again and again because like fuck man, niggas was still talking about him. You know what I'm saying? And again, he also had all that moxie from Control. So again, Control like pissed off a lot of people, including Lupe, because Lupe wanted Kendrick to do a more traditional approach to taking over rap, and Kendrick's like, nah, fuck that. I don't gotta exchange diss tracks with none of you niggas, but I'm gonna proclaim that I'm the best. You know what I'm saying? So again, I think this whole take stems from fan bases and comment sections more than actual artists themselves. Because if you actually try to point to places where artists have done it, you probably come up short. Because in my experience, the only other person I've seen who's like a hyper lyrical artist talk down about Kendrick's lyrical abilities was Raw the Rugged Man in an interview on Vlad TV from like 10 years ago. He was saying, oh yeah, King Los would totally beat Kendrick in a rap battle. Kendrick's not really hanging with dudes like King Los, etc., etc. And I don't know if King Los ever said anything like that, but like, you know, I'm sure there's other lyricists and hyper lyrical cats who are also into like battle rap and very technical wordplay driven rap, you know what I'm saying, like a Lupe that has said shit like that. But again, Blues never said it, Kaz never said it, Elzai's never said it, Fonte's never said it, fucking Aesop Rocks never said it, Saw Rocks never said it, Odyssey's never said it, Atmospheres never said it, MF Doom never said it, fucking Homeboy Sandman never said it. Like, those cats are who I deem as like real hyper lyrical niggas. Now you can delve into like more like technical rappers like a Raw the Rugged Man or a King Los or a Daylight or a Afro or fucking, you know, the Tech 9 ilk, Immortal Technique, etc. You can go into that bag too, Vinny Paz. You know what I'm saying? You and keep going down those lines and into those rabbit holes and looking at all those rappers. I've been around those fan bases, and I know a lot of those cats respect the fuck out of Kendrick and they love Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is so much love for Kendrick because like he loves hip hop. Like, clearly, like he clearly respects the art form, and he clearly wants people to like dig into lyricism and enjoy that and have that, you know, and he makes it accessible, and that's what's so fucking awesome about him. And most people can see that. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop fans, sweaty hip hop fans, it don't matter. Like, they can just see that in him. So yes, there are some folks that do hate, but I feel like lumping in ultra lyricists with Lupe specifically and his gripe is just not fair to them. Now for your point on Ab-Soul, I think that one is pure like chat. Like, I'm sorry, bro. I kind of like tuned that part of the video out. I mean, I didn't tune it out, but I kind of just like your Ab-Soul portion of the video is the reason why I'm making this video, just because I just completely disagree with like there being beef on that side or there being like toxic vibes about it. Because I'll start by saying one, Ab-Soul completely does have mid-range. Like, Illuminate isn't that accessible, but the vibe that it's on it, like, people felt that, and that's why the fucking song was on GTA. But then even you take his more recent tracks like Do Better, that has mid-range. It just wasn't pushed that much for real by the industry. All that off of Soulburger, FOMF off of Herbert. Like, both of those songs have mid-range, and those are like bumping fucking songs. It's just that they didn't get a lot of push. It happens, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where Ab-Soul's gripe comes from. It's just the fact that he's not really receiving that same type of push from the industry. It's not a Kendrick issue. Another thing is, like, you're saying he's collabing with like J. Cole because, you know, they're on the song Pie together, but yet if you actually watch the Daylight, or I think you did actually watch it in full, I think it's just you were cherry picking certain moments that sort of helped your point. But in the Daylight interview, he said that Cole met up with Daylight and Ab-Soul in the studio, and they played him a song, and Cole's like, yo, can I use that? It wasn't the fact that they hopped on the song where he was sneak dissing Kendrick. It's the fact that Cole added that shit later. And granted, I'm sure Ab-Soul and Daylight had to approve of it anyway before releasing, and I'm sure they did just based off the fact that, again, Daylight's a battle rapper, Ab-Soul respects the art of rap and the battle aspect of rap, and between Kendrick and Cole, it was actually a friendly fade, which Cole apologized for and got the fuck up out of there. but like they knew exactly what they were doing. It's not like, and another thing is Cole probably felt hella weird dissing Kendrick on a song with Ab-Soul and Daylight. You know what I'm saying? That probably looked mad shady, which is probably why, again, he also apologized. Another thing about the Curtis and Punch, or the Curtis and Punch and the Curtis and Daylight interviews, is that you kind of used their points about talking about mid-range to say that Ab-Soul doesn't have a mid-range, even though Ab-Soul is in the Punch interview. So it's just kind of like, that's interesting. Also, Daylight and Punch, like, or just Punch as a rapper, not as a label runner / president, like the projects he's working on the other side of TDE, that's not like the main artist we see, like Room Full of Mirrors is very, very like lyrical, hyper lyrical, like intensive hip hop. It's not mid range at all. It's very upper range. So again, Punch is also cool with Lupe. Like the song Peace, Lupe, Ab-Soul, and Punch are all on the same song rapping, bro. And it's like, and it's not mid-range rap. Like, it's okay to not be a mid-range rapper, you know what I'm saying? Like, now does Soul crave the mid-range more than Lupe does currently? Yes, I believe so, because you can hear that in some of his production choices and some of his song choices. Like, again, you really gotta like dig into his shit before like critiquing it and saying there's no mid-range. There's definitely a mid-range. It's just that, again, it's not pushed because people will already market Ab-Soul as a hyper lyrical nigga, because that's just how it is. Also, you said that Kendrick doesn't have any features on TDE artist albums, which is not true, because he actually was a secret feature on the song Herbert off Ab-Soul's Herbert album. He just wasn't credited on there, but I think he just obviously did it because, you know, they're boys, like they're still friends, they're still homies. Like you can't act like Punch was the only one in the room where it happened when it came to the Kendrick beef. You know what I'm saying? Ab-Soul was in the room where it happened. He had to have known that shit. There's no way Punch knew it and Daylight knew about it, but Ab-Soul didn't. Like, let's be for real. Like, TDE has just shown nothing but love for each other. The toy drives, the pop out, and the Not Like Us video, all of it's there, and Kendrick showed that shit intentionally to show the love and the dynamic between them. You know what I'm saying? Who gives a fuck if Schoolboy, or if a fucking Ab-Soul didn't get a song at the pop out? You know what I'm saying? Maybe he just didn't have something ready. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Now, do I think it was fucked up that he didn't get a song? Yes, but I don't think Ab-Soul is now like turning tide, turning teams, and giving Lupe a fucking Crip like memorabilia and flags on stage to show how much he hates Kendrick. Because one, Kendrick's not a Crip, and I don't think that performance of them two together had anything to do with Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? Lupe having his little dry beef with Kendrick, it's whatever, bro. Like, ultimately, like, some niggas just like are friends with multiple people. It is what it is, you know? Another thing, you said Q sneak this in them on Thank God For Me, when it was more likely than not a Reason diss, because at that time TDE was having a fallout with Reason, because, you know, label issues, and Reason felt like he was getting mistreated, you know what I'm saying? But Q said you couldn't, you want the money or you want to inspire, the same old crying, get tired, you liar, you fired. Because, you know, Musa's biggest gripe with Reason was that the fact that they felt like his music just wasn't inspiring anymore, but he's still like asking for, you know what I'm saying, da 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 da. So again, I just think that when it comes to both Lupe and Ab-Soul, they both just want recognition for their upper range craft because they're good rappers. You know what I'm saying? Now, Ab-Soul is trying to take a more mainstream, you know, again, mid-range approach, but that don't got shit to do with Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? Him saying he wants the accolades and he wants the fame and he wants the money because he deserves it. He's been in the game for over 10 years. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of dudes have been able to come up and change and be seen as like, and be heralded as these figures. And a lot of these dudes came up with Ab-Soul. Like, they were his homies. Like, fucking, again, the other TDE people. You know what I'm saying? SZA, Q, Rock, Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? Even Doechii now. But to be fair, Doechii was more of a sensation before them. But it's completely fair to want like a piece of that. You know what I'm saying? Even the non-TDE people, Mac Miller, you know what I'm saying? Rhapsody somewhat, you know what I'm saying? But again, it's just that he just wants some recognition, and I don't think like we need to build narratives that, and I guess if some shit does come out, maybe, but like it probably won't ever come out. You know what I'm saying? Even if they did have a little bit of a disagreement during Kendrick, you know, leaving the label and whatnot, it's like ultimately that was Kendrick's choice, and they've all pretty much like respected that choice, have been shown to respect that. Like it's always been love between them. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that shit has changed for real. So yeah, I just think that you could have done a little bit more research when it comes to that video. But yeah, dude, it's apples and oranges issue. I just think the Absol part was not the best. But yeah, peace. Yasuke out. Peace.